fire.
Call the meeting to order. If you would please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And minutes from the March 3rd council meeting, the March 12th work session, and the March 17th special meeting with public hearing.
Move to approve. Second.
It's properly moved and seconded that we approve the minutes as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, at this time, we will open the bids for the 2012 Dodge Charger from the Police Department. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bids. First one is Danny Barron for $2,020.
What was the last name?
Barron, B-A-R-R-O-N.
What was the bid on that one?
2020,
Yep.
not the year.
This is from Seth Gregory, $4,100. Jordan Balmer, $5,501.
501.
501.
I'm sorry, what was that name?
Jordan Ballmer.
B-A-U-M-E-R.
Keep opening them, they get higher.
Brian Schornfeld, S-C-H-O-N-F-E-L-L, $1,000. Jaden Jones, $650. Shane Carnes, C-A-R-N-E-S, I believe, $2,500. One more. The smallest envelope, maybe it's the biggest. Is that Kiera? K-I-E-R-A?
Yes, I think.
Yeah, it's here.
Roberts for a bid amount of $2,500.
So I would recommend take those under advisement. I want to confirm whether or not we've got a published notice, because I don't think we published. We have the Facebook ad, but I want to make sure I keep you guys legal. So I would take those under advisement, and we should be able to finalize that at our next meeting.
Should we notify the bidders since they were informed that we're opening bids tonight?
Yes, you can certainly notify bidders, tell them the bids were open. You can tell them who the high bidder is. I mean, it's an open meeting and videotape, so. But that we're taking it under advisement to confirm whether or not we need to publish notice. If we publish notice, we have to, because we're trying to generate obviously as much as we can, so if we publish notice, it would be more of an open situation where people could raise their bid, kind of an auction type thing.
With that, we will move on to our public comments. Michelle, do you have information for us about anything?
Actually, I'm here to see if, it's my understanding that the town owns the grass property at the corner behind the fire department at North Market and Perry, is that it?
Yes.
And we were wanting to see if we could use that for Jubilee Days, for some extra activities, the little grass area.
Rick, would you have any, I know we've done the auto extrication there, but we can do it in.
No, I don't have a problem with it.
Well, I had talked to Brian, and Brian told me he thought they were gonna do that in the parking lot this year. So that's why we were gonna see if we could use that, maybe for just some activities for kids, et cetera, in addition to the park, so.
I haven't seen any issue with it. We'll be cleared off of it and we can use that, so. Say so.
And then I did give you these fall fairs and festivals books. This year, only our fall festival is in there. Last year, when we were getting ready to put in the hometown Christmas one, those pages were full, but it will be going in for next year. Because we have funding for both of those. Now, for Jubilee Days, we do need to get some funding to have Jubilee Days put in there as well.
And that, this year it's on the first weekend in August, correct?
Yes, August 1st and 2nd.
On that lot up there, if you're gonna have stuff for the kids, those stumps are up there,
Yeah, there's some
And there's
stumps in there.
pipe sticking up out of the
Yeah,
ground there.
and I
too,
just
that
figured we'd have to put something
really ought to
around
come out of
those.
there.
We can provide some cones if necessary. Along with that, Heart of Hagerstown.
Hello. Not a lot on our schedule. Townwide cleanup, April 26th through May 3rd. I think Chris is gonna advertise pushing that April 28th through May 2nd, that you guys will be picking up yard debris. We will have a dumpster at the South Washington Street location again this year on Saturday the 3rd. But hopefully advertising it for that week will encourage people to get some more done than just a Saturday morning. And they've got some time to plan and organize it. We have townwide yard sale, May 17th. That's coming up. Through the Wayne County Main Street Coalition, we are working on a countywide, I guess I want to call it a tourism project, to try to get county residents throughout the county to visit several different things. Maybe like a bingo card, we're still vetting all of that. But probably like a 90-day event for everybody, that way they can go to Cambridge Canal Days or Fountain City Levi Coffee and just encourage them to visit, different activities throughout the county. So we're still vetting that, but most likely that's going to be our August, September timeframe, maybe October, at a minimum for that. We're getting ready to put pansies. I worked with Chris on Main Street. We're getting ready to put pansies back in the pots on Main Street. Hopefully this week we get past this 20-degree night tonight, and those are in and ready to be potted. So that's pretty much what I've got.
Any questions? Thanks, sir. Next up, we have the utility request at 200 North Pearl Street. Everybody should have had a letter of grant on there. Thanks.
Right, so he bought a house, but he's not living in it just yet, so. But there's 2 months worth of, and Gretchen figured it out, so it comes up to $416.01.
That's on the sewer side, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know if he's ever requested one before?
No, he just bought that.
I don't know if I know he's a previous resident, right?
Not that I.
Oh, okay.
So Julie, I mean, we don't, nobody was living there, so what, we assume that just the standard rate would be what the house was using if nobody was there, right?
Right.
What's that amount? What's the minimum amount?
I think she,
So 40,
4469. She did that on the bill right there.
I see that.
Yeah,
She just didn't write down that it, okay.
and then the other one. But he has already paid the bill, so
Be refunded credit. Would be refunded credit.
I don't know what I was.
Okay.
So are we looking at a $221.83 credit or refund, whichever, however we're gonna go about it? Is that the number we're trying to get at?
No, 41601.
I'll make a motion to credit 41601 to that account.
Second. It's been properly moved and seconded that we credit 200 North Pearl for $416.01. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Next up, we have two sets of contracts that we took under, or bids that we took under advisement. The first one is for the demolition of 301 South Perry Street. We had Cox Excavating at $40,075 and B&B Construction at $31,990. John, did both of those those bids check out?
Yeah, I think Chris and I reviewed those and both were responsive and correct. I don't know if Chris has a recommendation, but I assume go with a little bit.
I'll make a motion then we accept B&B Construction for the demolition of 301 South Perry Street for $31,990.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the demolition of 301 South Perry Street for B&B Construction for a total of $31,990. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Next, we have the bids for the water improvement project. Bracken Incorporated, $3,529,574. Miller Pipeline, $3,538,140.37. Indiana Earthworks, $2,952,727. And Watson Excavating Incorporated, $3,690,450. Those all in accordance as well?
Yeah.
But is that the bids after? So since we're taking things out of the project, do we know what they are, or should we ask them to alter those bids, or how do we do that?
I think you're still wanting to go with the low bidder, but there are lines you're wanting to delete, I believe is what it was, Brian.
Jones Road, didn't we take that out?
Yeah.
I mean, we took some things out to give to the bond, right? We're working under those assumptions that we're taking those out. So how do we do that? Do we just accept the low bid and then see if he'll come off of it, or do we show him what our...
I think my recommendation would be to accept the low bid contingent upon approval by it's Klein Peter, that's the engineer and financial consultant.
Financial consultant.
Right. Who's the engineer?
It's Triad and Associates.
So I would approve the low bid contingent upon approval by the financial consultant and the engineer with modifications.
Brian, didn't he say something the last time, because we talked about that, and he said that we would accept a low bid and then work on change orders? Wasn't that it?
That's what I heard.
I think that's what it was.
My only question with that is if a company puts in a bid and they're doing that, and let's say that they made a certain percentage of profit off the things that we deleted to help balance things out, and then we eliminate those things out of that bid, and now this company gets to do the work, but yet part of their profit that was being generated in XYZ has now been eliminated. Is there a contingency for that? I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
with that?
understand.
I mean,
They're making less margin because they're doing less work. So.
and if their margin was higher on certain things,
Right.
we eliminate that,
If their gravy train was over here on Jones Road and you've taken that out, then.
then now that kind of just
Right.
messes the bid up.
They don't have, since we're making adjustments, they can rescind their bid, correct?
Right, they could essentially refuse based on the change orders.
So it's still okay to go ahead and accept the low bid,
Based on.
work through this whole process of change orders, and if they say,
Right,
going back to rebidding it,
right, I think so, yeah.
And I think Chris had even said that they were kind of aware of some changes might be made and going to work with us.
are, yeah.
I have to abstain from this vote. I work for him.
Oh,
That's a good reason. As the attorney, that's a good reason.
yeah. That's pretty
I
well.
don't work for Indiana Workforce, but I work for the owner.
That's kind of
I'll make a motion to approve and accept Indiana Earthworks bid for $2,952,727.
Does everybody want to know what the payments are going to be before we vote this thing through?
Or do we know what the payments are going to
Oh, yeah, it's like 180,000 a year.
For 20 years, right?
be? Well, I won't be around at the end of it, so.
And now, plain right, we get every 2 years for an audit because of this from the, so.
I'll second it.
Oh,
It's been properly moved and seconded that we accept the bid from Indiana Earthworks for the water improvement project for a total of $2,952,727. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Abstain. Firmly.
Furthermore, under council action, just as a note, Brad Robinson was my appointment to the BZA board to fill that vacancy. And now we have the wage and salary ordinance number 4, 2025.
So we had two adjustments. We hired Jamie, director, accounts receivable, 1875, and then the airport is gonna have an employee, starts at 15. And that's effective March 20th.
Is that a part-time position? At the airport? I know Jamie's is full-time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I see where we hired the other part-time person or summer help? I guess that's on.
Summer help, there's just summer help, yeah.
Oh.
That's nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
per week. Airport,
We're figuring 10 to 15.
10, 15.
I make a motion that we accept the wage and ordinance number 04-2025 as presented by clerk treasurer.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve wages and salary ordinance number 4/2025 with an effective date of March 24th, 2025. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? John, what do you have for us?
So we had a BZA meeting, that went well, it was a couple weeks ago, I think. We had that, I'm sure y'all are aware, the bond successfully closed. They're holding the money pending our special meeting and confirmation. We got the publisher's affidavit and everything, so we should be good there. 450 Plum Street, I sent an email, so Mr. Tom and one of his affiliates or someone related to his company sent them an email that they had responded to Chris, so I know it's a good email address, back March 31st. And I said, Mr. Tom, you appeared at the Unsafe Building Hearing Authority hearing back in November. An update was to be provided at the February meeting either by you or an agent. The ordinance violations are to be cured by May 31st, but there's been no meaningful progress. Can you provide an update as to the status? I can relay in the April Town Council meeting. We will need to get this set for hearing again in June unless significant progress is made. I look forward to your reply. That was a week ago and I have not heard anything. Chris confirms he hasn't heard anything either. So I think we'll get official notice out to him for a hearing in early June. He's either going to have the stuff fixed or he's not. And my recommendation would be just schedule it for demolition. If he scrambles and gets something done and you guys want to work with him, great. But if he still has ordinance violations, we've been more than fair with him and we need to make progress. So we'll do that. I'll check in on the police car. Chris had texted me and I overlooked checking into it on the publication and notice and making sure we do all that correctly, but hopefully we'll get that wrapped up. Seems like I'm forgetting something, but I think that's all I have.
Application of notice of what, the winner?
Well, no, not the winner, the actual process, because we put it on Facebook, but we didn't put it in paper that we were accepting bids.
We've got 2 trucks that we need to sell. The fire department has a Blazer that they need to sell as well, and I just want to make sure we go about it right when we do ours.
Okay.
So it was on Facebook, and obviously we got some hits, but just to make sure, keep you guys legal and no one can have an issue. I mean, it's not, it's a few $1,000, but make sure we get the highest bidder and do it right. So.
Thanks, sir.
I got more. So if it's a sealed bid, are they allowed to come and increase their bids now?
Yeah, they would be, yes.
Really?
Fair, yeah.
Okay.
Then that kind of like turns it into an auction.
Correct. Because as opposed to you guys taking bids for services where you want it to be low, we want it to be high, so we want that competitive bidding. And we want them to, well, hey, I'll go 6,500, I'll go 7,000. So.
Next up, reports, Parks and Recreation.
No meeting, they will meet next month.
Police Department, Keith.
Just a couple quick things. We had a busy March, and we're finally got both of our officers back to full duty, so we're back up to full staffing, and that's all I had.
Any questions? Thanks, sir. Fire Department, Rick.
March was a busy month for us also. We had 25 runs for the month, which is, we thought we were in a decline, but apparently that didn't last long compared to what we were in February. We did have one of our members, he was a 30-plus year member, passed away. Bobby Bullock had some health issues and passed away, so he's going to be missed on the department. He was known for driving our tanker every time we needed to go out on a structure fire out in the township. He always drove the tanker for us, so We could always depend on him for that and some other stuff, so he's gonna be missed. We are gonna put the other Tahoe Unit 6.2 up for sale. It's set most of the winter, we just don't use it anymore like we did. So I need to get that out and decide when we're gonna do it. So we can follow the guidelines on what we need to do, and we'll do a sealed bid. I've already got people that's been contacting me that want it, so it shouldn't be hard to get rid of. It's a good running vehicle, it's got a little over 100,000 miles on it, but it still runs. But we just don't use it. I did have the township agreement, but I forgot it in my office, so I will get, I'll email John a copy of it. It's for part of our Downton Township that we go on up there, and I reviewed it, and it's just, the basic agreement for 3 years. So Lance gave it to me, and as soon as we get it signed off on, I'll get it to Lance. But I'll let our town attorney review it. I'll send it to him in email, and he can review it. Membership, finally, we've got a full boat. Matter of fact, we've got one more than usual, which is good. We just put, I know I said I put one on, but we put 2 on. One was a member that used to be on the department for a while, and he got off, and now he's back on. He's got all his certifications. He's been wanting on for a little while now. He was off because he had his kids full time, and they were just too much for him to handle, going, trying to find somebody to watch him if he had a call or something. So, the one thing we're having issues with is gear. Right now, some of our gear, NFPA, they'll give you standards on firefighting, and they say how old your gear can be before you have to replace it. I don't know what they base it on. I think they base it on the big cities that are in structure fires 5 and 6 a day, like New York or something, because they say we should replace our gear every 10 years. Volunteers or departments, I feel, are not necessary, but that's the NFPA standard. And if something were to happen, even though the state of Indiana is not an NFPA state, that still doesn't matter if you go to court. So they can always use that against us. So we did size some guys for some gear. Some of the guys that we did size, we checked the gear they had, and it still is a couple of years before it needs replaced. So I do have some money in my budget. I think we can try to squeeze by. But the cost that for all the guys, it's just different now when you get gear. They size the gear to fit the person. It's not like here's a pair of pants, put them on, they fit. So the cost that we got for that first round the other night was $25,000. It's almost $3,000 to put a guy in gear. That's just pants and a coat. It doesn't include the helmet, boots, SCBA. So, and it's just going to keep going up and up. So I don't know. We got a round of grants several years ago and replaced all of our gear. So, but a lot of that is, and we've tried to replace some each year at the end of the year with our budget, what's left over. So we'll do what we can. I'll be getting with another vendor, and we're gonna look at some at the FDIC Friday when we go over. All the vendors will be over there, so. But we wanna make sure our guys got the proper gear and they're safe, and and that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Airport board.
Keith contacted me last month about wanting to put a lean-to in the shooting range. We approved that last week. I'd like to get a lease with them so that they can do whatever they want in that area, type of thing like 4-H does. If you can put something together, that'd be great. I don't know how long it's gonna take us to get the FAA to approve it. The last building we had, it took almost a year to get that approved. So we'll see about that. Had some fence damage down there. Don't know how it happened. Neighbors said they saw a truck turning around down there again, so that's probably what it was, but we're gonna try and fix that this weekend. As far as the trees go, we had a forester come to our last meeting and talk to us about sustainability. Instead of just cutting down all the walnuts and getting a bunch of money now, he recommended cutting down a lot of the junk trees so that the walnuts and the other money trees can grow better, and just cutting down some of those walnuts, cash from those, so we're considering that. And the only other thing I have is there is a fly-in this Saturday, 8:30 a.m., pancake breakfast.
Any questions? Thanks, sir. Advisory Plan Commission.
Had a meeting on the 18th. It wasn't overly crazy. Tom continues to follow up on all the different projects over town and keeping an eye on some of the properties that they've been having issues with. He went to a training and had talked about a floodway, a flood fringe, and there's different variances that you can have within those. I'm not going to botch his explanation. He did a very good job at that. Again, 450 North Plum, no attention by the owner. They had brought that up. A few of these things I think Chris is going to hit on. Can't think of anything else. Can you?
We might want to explain a little bit. The Plan Commission, we looked at some of the rules, regulations for the BZA board, and it's always been 4 within the city limits, 1 in the 2-mile fringe. And a lot of our variances are in the 2-mile fringe. So by working with John, we come to the realization that we could adjust that. So now on the BZA board, we have 2 people representing the 2-mile fringe, which would be Bob Warner and Brad Robinson. And then we have 3 representing the city limits, the city limits. And we think we'll get a little bit better. The Plan Commission, we just thought that would, since so many of the BZA variances are outside of the city limits, we just thought it would be better to make that, and John made sure we was all legal. That's why that had to be done so fast.
Right, yeah.
And it was an appointment by Alan, which he did, so that he could be there at that first BZA meeting. So just a little explanation on that.
Anything further? Thank you, John. Chris, your report.
Yeah, the wastewater treatment plant, we're getting all ready to advertise the clarifier drawings, the fabrication and installation of those. And that's a safety issue really down at our wastewater treatment plant because we have raised clarifiers. Most wastewater treatment plants, the clarifiers are down at ground level. So any kind of cleaning or maintenance that we have to do, we have the guys walking up, 8 foot in the air with nothing on one side and the clarifier tank on the other. So it's a dangerous situation right now. So that's not going to be a cheap fix down there, but it's something that we really need to address. We did have, after the big storms, we did have some sewage backflows. North Elm Street, which is a really flat area of town, had a backflow in Chris's basement actually, and we want to encourage our property owners to install backflow preventers on their wastewater systems exiting their houses. It's fairly rare, but it does happen from time to time with big rains. Crystal's also been assisting Heart of Hagerstown and the flower pots downtown. We've been working on this. We'll be working on this some more. Water department, we've already done just about. We've already awarded that. All of the water leaks that were discovered by the leak detector that came in 2 months ago, those have all been repaired now at this point. So we're waiting to see how that affects our water consumption this coming month. Hopefully it will improve and
we won't have all kinds of new leaks sprouting up all over the place.
That was worth it, right?
I think it was well worth it. Yeah, I think we'll use that same crew again. We've used 3 different crews since I've been here for leak detection, and this one so far seems to be the
How big
best.
was their scope? The whole town? Or
They-
did you just have them do a section?
They concentrated mostly on the north side and Grayson Heights, but it was pretty much the whole town. They tried to, in a short amount of time, try to find all the big ones. So.
Is that cost prohibitive to have them back again if we need them or not?
They haven't sent me a full bill for this one yet, but it's usually not that bad.
Okay.
Yeah, comparatively speaking, for what we lose. Electric department, I think I've already told you guys this. We have a demo bucket truck that's going to be coming in sometime this month, and I'll let you guys know when it's here if you want to look at it. We did go ahead and purchase a new wood chipper. We were having some safety concerns with our old one, and that was about a $30,000 expense right there, but they're getting a good amount of use out of that. We've had some minor power outages during the storms. I think the tree trimming has prevented us from having some of the major catastrophic ones that we have been having, which is good. Electric department's also switched out the Main Street banners. One thing I've been trying to work on for a couple of years now, and we just haven't gotten it together, is replacing some of these big fuses with a knife system. And I don't remember if you guys know when we had it's almost a town-wide power outage back. It's probably been 5 or 6 years ago, and we have a couple really large fuses. Well, there's 12 of them that are about the size of this black stand right here that the camera is sitting on, and they are impossible to find. I mean, we're having to like find them on eBay and Marketplace, and I mean, they're almost impossible to find. And so we need to be replacing those, and there's 4 locations where there's 3 fuses total, so there's 12 of those total. I've been told that each of those 4 locations are going to be $50,000 to $60,000 to replace with a new knife system, each of those locations. So that's going to be another major expense, but if we can try to do that 1 bank a year or something like that, it's going to get us more where we need to be.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but those 12, or those 4 locations, those are all the primary feeds, because I recall the one down on South Street, that feeds off the...
Correct. There's
so
3
those
that are down pretty close to the substation, and then there's one that's on over, I can't remember exactly where it is, but yeah, it's all primary.
So essentially those are critical within
They're
the system.
really
They're
critical
not working
within
in
the
system.
infrastructure. Yeah, very critical. So that's something that we've got to bite the bullet on it and do it, unfortunately. Streets department, I've met with Milestone and gone over the community crossings project. They're starting to replace the curbs on it's just 1 block of South Washington Street and then 1 block up here on Plum Street on either side of the streets. We're going to try to go around town now at the community crossings and replace curbs when we do the streets next. We've got a lot of curbs to be replaced. Have the road salt ordered for this coming winter.
Really quick on the streets that are ready, I know they've had signs out alerting people not to park on that. I think I did see one section of that had a roll-off dumpster. We contacted that property.
Right up here.
Yeah, I believe it was.
I have not contacted them. I need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make a note of that. Got the road salt order for 25, 26. Let's see. Other stuff. I did visit what was an abandoned house at 152 West Madison Street. There is a resident that's living there now. He is fixing the house up, which is good to see because that was one of the 4 houses that we had identified to be torn down. As far as other projects here, Chuck Beck's purchased abandoned property at 347 Teeter Street, which is by the EA Park. And so he's resolving that property, which was another abandoned property. And then we just discussed the one here, warning the demolition of that. We did have another issue where we had we've been having people ride horses on the sidewalks down Main Street. And I don't know, Keith, if that's something he's trying to address, or I think that's something that we need to make sure doesn't happen anymore. At one time we did have signs that said no bicycle riding or skateboarding on Main Street. I don't know if we need to have signs that say no horse riding on sidewalks or what, but hopefully we don't have to get to that. Still working on the Norfolk and Southern deal with the railroad track down Washington Street, and I been sending an email out to John, and I think he's referring it on to someone else.
That was the one thing I had forgotten, yeah. So I have a colleague in my office, Joe Retz, and I know he's working on it to figure out what he can as far as ownership, and then we'll start some communication with more folks out there, and they're disclaiming any interest, is my understanding.
Correct, in the spur itself, and then I've talked to some of the property owners that did have parcels down there, and they cannot remember the spur going parallel to the railroad tracks for the length that it does. I know at one time it went up into the elevator, as Gary and I discussed, but that spur had been removed, and it's almost like when they removed that, they extended a new one out over onto the property. So we're just trying to get to the bottom of who owns it.
And if they continue to disclaim ownership, then at some point we're gonna tell them, oh, we'll take up the rails and the ties and.
Or charge them rent.
Or charge them rent, say,
Yeah.
I like rent, especially this North Fork Southern.
Yeah. So, but hopefully we can get that resolved, and then you can do more of a permanent fix with the drainage there.
Correct. Do you have any questions?
Chris, so I know you and Rick are looking at maybe doing some bid seals. Are you gonna try to put that old chipper in there too, just so
The
it's
person
not-
that sold us the chipper would like to buy it back.
Oh, okay,
So, yeah.
okay.
Which they sold it to us originally, and we bought it, and we sold it to them again, and they want it back. So, yeah.
Well, then it's sold then.
Yeah, I think it's sold, yeah.
I just have one question, Chris.
Sure.
Because the water project is always the hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
There were some water meters that you said that you guys were still working on trying to get some of those installed. What's the status of those?
We keep working on it. We keep plugging away, and it's we have a lot of them that we're finding have just died over time, and I guess rather than replacing something, we just need someone to look at them and shine a bright light on them.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the rental that we bought down here on Main Street. The water meter had died, and so they just had to shine a bright light on it. So I know that Gretchen, and she's still just really learning the system, but I know that she's trying to figure out which ones we need to at least go look at and see if they are actually dead and need replaced, or if they've just quit working for the time being.
Because on those bills, you guys just estimate those, right? On the ones with the dead.
Or they reread them, or, yeah.
Okay.
Is there a battery life on those? Either
I
they're
honestly
charged.
don't know. I don't know how.
Have they all been installed, or we still got some? sitting?
We've still got some. We've still got some where we haven't been able to get into the properties.
So what are we gonna do with that? This topic seems to come up all the time.
Yeah, you have ordinances that would allow you to
Enforce it and say here we go.
enforce, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we talked about that.
Can we put fines on if they don't let us in? Because that's probably what it's going to take,
Yeah.
because the money talks.
Or you talked about putting them outside and just say, okay, we'll charge
We
you.
had discussed that if you're not going to let us into your house, and we're going to locate one out by the curb, and we're going to charge you $1,000 to put it in, or I think it's actually $1,100 or $1,200 now to install it. That'd be another way of addressing it, and then it never becomes another issue.
Right, we never have to get back in.
Yeah, we never have to get back into their house.
So with the benefit of having some summer help, maybe that's something that we could look at a little bit more vigorously.
Yeah, and when we replaced all of our electric meters back, I think it was the summer before last, we actually hired a company to do that, and they were able to come in and do it all at once. So I'm kind of hoping if our electric crew slows down some, that they might be able to, since we did that for them, that they might be able to help out the water crew.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. Julie, what do we have to
Yes,
ask?
so we had our audit before we had the closing on the bond, which was very fast. And we got the bond closed. That's all I have.
Before miscellaneous business, everybody should have had in their stack. Maybe not.
You're the only one.
Oh, I'm the only one. This is from the Oak Creek Boosters. As usual, they're asking for the support of the marching band. It's a little letter there, and then the sponsorship needs. We've done just the basic in the past.
I don't know that we've ever sponsored.
Well, I think we have.
It's been a while. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't there at that time.
But the lowest sponsorship is $300, and then it goes There's one for 500 for contest fees and then 845 cents. You guys got to take with that and see.
You know, none of my kids have ever been in band, and our daughter Briella is in band now, and I know Dylan's oldest daughter is as well. And they've really got a phenomenal program going right now. I mean, Mrs. Sanders is doing an excellent job with it, and they have a percussion band that is incredible. I mean, it is really good.
And she's grown it over the last couple of years.
She
It's
has,
become
she
a
sure
very
has, yes.
large grouping.
I'll make a motion to give them a donation at the $500 level.
I'll second it. I'm an old band dad.
So properly moved and seconded that we approve the $500 sponsorship for the Music Boosters. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Miscellaneous business, our next regular council meeting will be Monday, May 5th at 6:30. Does everybody have a chance to review the claims?
Move to approve.
Second.
So properly moved and seconded that we approve the claims as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty adjourned. You know, it's that time of year that I come here and remind everybody that what you can burn and what you cannot burn. The town has a burn ordinance. I've already got phone calls from people complaining about their neighbors. So I just want to look and see. I mean, I'm just tired of getting a phone call. It's usually the same people. They know the laws. They know the rules. If I need to fine them, I'm going to have the authority, or who else can fine them. Either, you know, Keith's guys can come up there, but it's the same people. They know. And I stepped out of my back door the other night, and same one. I've been down there 3 years in a row. And I mean, a little small recreational fire is fine if you do it the proper way. But when you go down there and the flames are shooting 15, 20 feet in the air, and you're in the garage messing around and there's nobody back there watching it, then I've got problems with it. And the wind's blowing. So everybody wants to burn when the wind blows. And we've had some strong winds lately, so it's sad. I mean, I can't burn like to burn leaves. I can't do it. And so it's just getting to the point where we had a call for an illegal burn. We got down there and these people were doing it the proper way. They had the fire pit that they purchased at Menards and had the screens and everything on it. But the neighbor didn't like it, so like them burning, but they were following the rules. So, but if you have any questions, you know, feel free to contact me. I'll come and look at what you got, see if it meets what the state says. But that's just the way it is.
Chief, on those ones that you said that you can see out your back door, are those ones, can you self-dispatch to those, your fire department, and handle them?
Yeah, I can, but I talked to him and he gets his hose out and he puts it down, so, but he knows better, and like I said, and there, you know, he cooperates with me when I walk down there. He knew it when I walked in his driveway and Eric came out of the garage. He goes, "Somebody called, didn't they?" I said, "Yep, he sure did." So,
Thank you.
Make a motion.
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Second.
So properly moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?